Welcome to Studio 58A, live here at the Jamaica Information Service, our discussion program coming to you live on the internet, on Instagram and Facebook, depending on wherever you are, which one you're choosing to join us on. So I'm your host, Vaughn Davis. Thank you to everyone joining us online, wherever you are. We really do appreciate it. Thank you very much for your eyes. And like how we have your attention, do us a favor now. Share this video with a friend or two or 500 so we can have a very lively discussion. And as you watch, remember to send in your questions and your comments so we can put them to our guest. Now, Jamaica, we have a problem. And that problem is the dengue illness. In 2019, a total of 8,290 suspected and confirmed cases were recorded, with 1,692 persons admitted to hospital between 3 and 5 days. Even more unsettling is the fact that more than 80 lives have been lost to the illness over the past 2 years. Needless to say, we need to do something about this. But I bet you're probably asking how we're going to stop illness. We're not God, right? Mm-hmm. But there are things that we can do to minimize the spread. Priority 1 is to eliminate mosquito breeding sites for the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which carries and spreads the disease. The breeding sites are everywhere. They're in our homes, they're in our workplaces, the places that we go for fun, they're everywhere. The government wants us to come together as a people to destroy as many breeding sites as possible. And that's why they have organized the National Cleanup Day to do so. Here to tell us more about the cleanup days and all the activities planned is medical entomologist at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Mrs. Sherine Huntley Jones. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Ms. Huntley Jones, talk to us now about this dengue illness. It really are going bad, for lack of a better word. So give us a snapshot of what's going on in Jamaica. I mean, I mentioned some of the statistics, but give us an idea from the ministry's perspective. How are we looking at and viewing this illness?
Well, dengue is endemic to Jamaica, and from time to time we do have an outbreak. Outbreak meaning that we exceed our normal transmission levels. Previous to the outbreak that started in 2018, Jamaica would have had an outbreak of dengue every 2 to 3 years. Okay. However, since the outbreak started January 2018, we have been in outbreak mode to date. Okay. And it has this outbreak has been one of the more severe ones that we're seeing quite a number of persons being hospitalized, and unfortunately, several persons have died from the illness. So it's quite a severe outbreak.
Right.
Yes.
And so, as we said, the plan is to do something about it, and specifically destroy as many mosquito breeding sites as possible. And that's why we've organized the cleanup days. But give me an idea of what's supposed to happen on these cleanup days.
All right. So before I go to the cleanup days, it's very important for me to talk about the little vector that's causing the problem. Okay. So as we have always said, the vector for dengue is the Aedes aegypti mosquito. A very little insect, but gives a very big bite and causes a big problem. This mosquito lives in our home. It breeds in containers in our homes, in our schools, our places of work, in our marketplaces. It's an urban mosquito, and so it is found living closely associated with humans. Okay. And so the best method of controlling this vector really is community participation and persons getting on board. The Ministry of Health has launched this program. We have employed over 1,200 temporary workers. The ministry has bought over 44 new vehicles to put into the program. We have bought 35 what we call ULV machines that are vehicle mounted, and some about 30 handheld ones. So the ministry has done a great deal in inputting into the program. But the truth is, the real problem or the real method to dealing with this mosquito is getting persons on board. So this weekend is really a call to action for the entire nation to say, listen, man, all of us need to get on board to deal with this mosquito. It is found in our homes, found in our schools, found at our churches, in our business places. And so while the government is doing its part, there is still a greater need for everyone at the community level to come on board. And so this weekend is just a call to action that everybody must come out and play their part.
Before I even get into detail about the specific activities that are supposed to happen on the cleanup days, which are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Right? So before we even get into that, let's what is a mosquito breeding site? Let's start there so persons can understand what they should be keeping in mind and looking out for so that they can prevent it. Because, prevention better than cure. It's better to prevent them from, even though we have to go fix them now, but if we can prevent them from happening in the future, what we're supposed to be looking for as a mosquito breeding site.
And I'm happy for that question. So mosquitoes that we see are what we call the adult mosquito, the ones that are on wing. But before they get to be an adult, there are 3 stages that we don't see. That is in the water environment. So there's the egg stage, the larva stage, and a stage that we call pupae. A lot of times persons see some little things wiggling in their drums, and they call them worm, but they're actually the immature stage of the mosquito. So mosquitoes need water, and they tend to lay their eggs in containers. Now, for the Aedes aegypti, she's a container breeder, means that she lays her eggs in anything that is able to hold water. So when we talk about looking for breeding sites, we're talking about looking in things like old tires, fridge, cars, vases that we may have in our homes. Them old-time fridge that have the trough under it. Yes, I give you a good one. The tray that is under the drainer. In the washer dishes and there's a tray. She will breed in there. We have seen a lot of that across the island. In our country, there are persons who break bottles and put it on top of their fences as protection. She'll breed in that. So anything that is able to hold water, she will put her eggs there.
We seem to be getting a lot of questions on Instagram. So let me just show some love to the people online. Thank you very much for tuning in. And you have some questions. So I want to just share them to Mrs. Huntley Jones right away. All right? No itching. Let me go all the way up to the top. Some people, Lisa Roslyn Powell said, sad it had to reach this stage to get a reaction from the government. Hey, I understand your frustration. It's easy to feel that way, but the truth is something is being done, and it's just an indication that we have to take this a lot more seriously than we tend to. We see the mosquito, we just think, it's like a mosquito bite every now and then. But I guess if we think long term, and we appreciate that this is not a problem that's just going to go away, because we can't get rid of mosquitoes. It's just,
in totality.
So we need to just start making the effort now on our own part to eliminate the mosquito breeding sites on our own. Right? Persons just agreeing that you can't stop it. Come Fix Solutions. Thank you. Appreciate that you tuned in from last time. We remember you. Thank you for tuning in. All right. And go through. There was a good question I just want to... Welton Thompson says, we the people of this country are being reluctant to follow up on procedure, which I suggest indicates that there's more that we as persons can be doing. We can be taking personal accountability to ensure that mosquito breeding sites are dealt with properly. All right, over on another question I wanted to ask. By Inventor says we need non-GMO holistic green fumigation. I want you to touch on that, because there is the perception, which we're going to get into, why persons are reluctant to have some of the vector control workers come into their yards. Some might feel that the thing or the fumes are harmful. Can you touch on that and talk to me about that? Persons might have that view that, boy, them fumes, that we're not sure about them, Miss Huntley Jones. No, if we want anybody coming out here, spray them fumes, Talk to me about that.
Well, listen, the truth is, if all of us take the time to deal with the breeding site, we would not have any adult mosquitoes to be fogging. And so once we deal with the breeding at the breeding site, in the drum, in the tires and so forth, then there will not be the need for this amount of fogging. We tend to have to fog because we're finding, as we do our inspection, that persons are not taking action. In an unfortunate case where a child died and we visited the home, a home that we have visited the community, that home had 40 breeding sites. And so this is the reason why we have to fog, because we have found that persons are just not doing their part. Suffice to say that the chemicals that we use are very safe. They are recommended and registered by the World Health Organization, and as long as we use them per manufacturer's recommendation, they're okay.
All right. Kirkwood Forbes, thank you, Kirkwood, for your comments. saying more pest control, invest in technology that can prevent them coming inside your homes. I suppose these are more comments for persons watching online and persons that are listening. He also mentions that there's a trap that can help eliminate mosquitoes in environments and communities. Well, if you know specifically what that trap is, you can send us a photo, send us a recommendation, so maybe we can disseminate that. Maybe Ms. Huntley Jones can vet it and tell you whether or not this is something that's really
and there are traps.
That's really worthwhile. You know what I mean? Denise Ferguson wants to know, thank you, Denise, will you be sending trucks around to take up stuff, which I suggest has to do with when persons do the mosquito, try to eradicate the mosquito breeding sites in their home and they create the waste. Yes. You don't want that to stay there.
Definitely,
and then create another breeding site. You know what I'm saying? What can you mention on that?
All right. So the effort on the weekend is going to be a joint up effort. So we have the National Solid Waste Management Authority on board. We have the National Works Agency. We have SDCs. We have the JDF and we have the JCF. So it's a joint up effort.
Right.
So in the communities that we'll be having the national focus and the parish focus, we'll definitely have trucks from the solid waste agency that will be picking up the bulky waste. In fact, they started from end of November.
Okay,
so
lovely.
quite a number of communities would have had their bulky waste removed. So this is just a big weekend, and then it will continue thereafter.
All right. Taylor Dest 1993. I soon get to your question. I haven't forgotten. But I want to talk to Ms. Huntley Jones about what exactly is happening on the individual days. We have Friday, we have Saturday and Sunday. What's going to happen on Friday?
All right. So this mosquito that we're talking about, the Aedes aegypti mosquito, is a day-biting mosquito. So more often than not, persons are infected while they're at work, at school, when they're at the market, just out playing, because it's this mosquito is mostly active during the day.
Right.
And so we have split the weekend into three specific focus. On the Friday, we're focusing on schools, business places, where persons go to work or at school, they're out during the day. So on the Friday, we're calling to action all business places and all schools. The Ministry of Education has come on board in a huge way. So they have mobilized all their schools. So on Friday tomorrow, all the kids will be out in their schoolyard searching for and destroying breeding sites. We have invited all business places to come on board as well. And between the hours of 10 to 12 tomorrow, we're asking CEOs and directors and managers to, get up and go outside and look for the breeding sites. So we're not talking about in the drains. So just look around the yard, inside and outside, for anything that is able to hold water. In offices, they tend to have, everybody have a little flowers on their desk, or they have a nice palm in the corner with the tray underneath that holds the water that will breed. So we're inviting all business places to please take 15 to 20 minutes between the hours of 10 to 12 and get your workers out. We do not want anyone to say our janitorial staff will do it, because it's a that's taking personal responsibility.
Personal accountability.
Yes, and we want the directors, everyone to get up. And guess what? It will go a good way with the Jamaica Move agenda as well. Yes.
Get yourself active.
Get yourself active tomorrow.
Moving. Get up from the desk and move around.
Many times that persons are infected, it's either at the workplace, at school, where persons are out during the day.
Right, exactly. So that's on Saturday.
So that's on Friday.
On Saturday.
So on Saturday now, it's when we take on the Labor Day type of activity, where we do have a national project. It will be in the Grandspen area and the Raytown area. And alongside that, we're having all parishes having their local parish projects. So what we're doing on this Saturday is bringing attention to some of the environmental factors that lends themselves to the issue of mosquito breeding. We have this very bad habit of dumping things into the drains. Absolutely. So while we know that this mosquito don't like drain water, but because persons dump their everything into drain, their fridge, old mattress, everything, these things can catch water and breed mosquito.
Right.
And so we'll be cleaning some drains in Grandspen and Raytown. We'll be going around looking for breeding sites, handing out drum cover, just bringing attention to the residents as to what are the kind of things that they need to be looking for as they seek to deal with the mosquito. And of course, we'll be removing some of that bulky waste that persons tend to have in their backyard. When we throw out the fridge, I don't know if persons don't know what to do with these things.
Probably not.
But we tend to keep them, and they are the problem while we're having this dengue persisting.
And more of the same will be done on the Sunday.
And then on Sunday, it's more in your personal home space.
Okay.
So this is once we have dealt with the community, we still have to look in and around our own personal space. Remember, the Aedes aegypti mosquito is one. She lives inside, she feeds inside, she rests inside. she'll fly maximum 100 meters from the home. She's not going anywhere. So truly, the real control is persons taking action. So on the Sunday, we're asking persons to look around their homes, inside and outside, destroy anything that hold water. What are some of those things? Sometimes the pool,
old drum or the
tires,
things,
drums,
flower pots, things like that.
Some people have 3 and 4 bathrooms, 2 of which they have not seen in many months, but it has the water in there and it will breed mosquitoes. Check under the disc drainer. Check everything in your home that is able to hold water. Bromeliad plants, any plant that has an overlapping axle that is able to, so they're talking about the banana leaf, the bromeliad plants that is able to hold water, and tadpole, those that need to turn them over or punch holes in them so that the water drains out. So it's really a call to action at all levels, at the business places, schools on Friday, community-wide on Saturday, and in our personal home spaces on Sunday.
Somebody asked an excellent question, and I might go back just to see if I can identify the person. The person asked, what are the symptoms of dengue? That's a very good question to let persons appreciate what they're fighting against.
All right. So the symptoms of dengue are pretty much similar to that of flu. Right. You have definitely, it's called dengue fever. So there is a fever. There's what we call the retroorbital pain. That's pain behind the eyes. Okay. You may have muscle pain or joint pains. So that's normally what we call classical or dengue without warning signs. However, we can have what we call dengue with warning signs, some more severe manifestations. For example, bleeding, persistent vomiting, diarrhea. When you see those signs, that is when we're saying to persons, listen, man, don't stay home and try to treat it. Run to your medical practitioner, seek help. Because often what we're finding that most of the persons that come in very severely or unfortunately die, they were held at home too long. Okay. And so please recognize the warning signs, say diarrhea, vomiting, any type of bleeding is not good at all. Please come out. And if you're finding your fever persisting more than 3 days, 4 days, go to your practitioner.
Get help immediately. You hear that, people? I mean, hey, we know in Jamaica we like to tough it out and say, well, we just treat it at home. But this is not a plaything. This dengue is a serious one.
Yes. Do not keep the child at home. Right. Do not keep the sick one at home. Take them in and seek medical attention early. And especially if the person has other conditions like sickle cell, definitely take them in early and get that attention.
Just to show some love to Sharon Forever Young Lawrence. Guess she says waste management can also play a mandatory part, as well as having more pickup schedules instead of once a week, and that's maybe a week. Just saying, we're right there with you, Sharon. I mean, we get that more collection, but at the same time, we can always reflect that lens inward and talk about personal accountability. Absolutely, more garbage collection would help, but let's make sure that we're disposing of our garbage properly
and holding it properly while the truck gets there. Right, because we do know the constraints.
We know the constraints.
So while the truck is on its way, let's package it and hold it so that it doesn't allow for breeding of mosquitoes.
That buckle that you just drink the soda from, don't just fling it down without the cork, and then before you know it, rainfall and tutus, it becomes a breeding site. These are the things that we have to start thinking about, because believe it or not, it matters. It really matters. As the person says, the mosquito don't fly too far from the yard. You just want a nice little place that you can set up shop, start breeding, and before you know it, the whole house have dengue.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? More questions online. A lot of persons seem to be really interested in this topic. Taylor Dest says, we can only mitigate. I don't think we can fully eliminate it. What are you doing to protect the workers, though? This is big persons, because we have the vector control workers and the persons going out and doing sensitization. And one would imagine they are equipped with information, but what else are we doing to ensure that they don't necessarily become, as they work, victims themselves of the whole dengue outbreak?
So we have recognized the issue of the violence against our vector control workers. And I just want to take the opportunity at this time to say, listen, the workers are out there doing all of us a favor.
Right.
They're the ones going around looking for the breeding sites. They're treating and they're sharing the information. So it serves no one's purpose to be, hindering or causing this kind of
people, come on, let's get real. A person can come into the house to help you. I mean, I know that there are little nuances, there are little things. You might not like the person, or there might be history, there might be a whole heap of things. But at the end of the day, if the person is in the house if the person is legitimately there, showing their ID and necessary information to suggest that they are there on purpose to come and
right.
help you.
That's right.
There should be no reason to, hurt them, harm them, or, you know what I mean?
Definitely. So we have recognized it, and so we are going to be educating the public a little bit more as to what it is that they do, so that there's a greater understanding. Right. We're going to try to work with the local champions, the local movers and shakers in communities, so that when we go into access that, there is an understanding as to where we're coming in. And if it needs to be, we're going to have to take some action legally.
Right.
And
I mean, we can't have the people doing their work, and
this done.
I mean, it's only for your own good. I mean, let's get real.
The truth is, if this continues, our workers are going to refuse to go into some communities. And
Absolutely. And that can only, and before you know it, there's an outbreak in the community, and people will complain that not enough was done. But it begins with us. At the end of the day, it seems like the watchword is personal accountability. We have to take active hand in making sure that we mitigate the outbreak. Whether or not how it got here at this point is almost irrelevant. We need to bring it down to protect our population.
That's right.
Now, let me ask you that. You mentioned that specific communities are being targeted, Raytown, Grants Pen, but are there any others also that will receive specialized attention?
So each parish has selected a focus for the day, for Saturday. Mm-hmm. So there are actually 14 communities that are going to be focused on the Saturday. Mm-hmm. We will continue, the Solid Waste Management Authority will continue work beyond the weekend, as well as the National Works Agency, in cleaning some of the drains that needs to be cleaned, and in removing the bulk waste in communities that would not have been targeted on the Saturday. Because it's going to be a lot, I can imagine.
I mean, it's going to go beyond. It definitely will have to go beyond the National Cleanup Day, but this is the day that's designed to mobilize you and get you up and going,
Definitely.
All right, so I hope I'm not mispronouncing that, but BUI Ventor seems to be particularly interested in the fogging materials, and a person is saying genetically modified fog evolved mosquitoes. They can live in winter weather in America. Choose nature-based herbs. So essentially, he's just trying to make sure that he's recommending organic chemicals and so on. But like I said, I suspect this is not something that is not a decision that you guys make ad hoc. A lot of care and consideration goes into what you choose.
Definitely. Right. And I'd like to take the opportunity to just introduce you. We have been talking about that Jamaica will be piloting the use of what is called the sterile insect technique. Right. And this is where we sterilize male mosquitoes, and they are released into the population. These sterilized male mosquitoes will mate with wild female mosquitoes, and there will be no production of offspring.
Right.
And so that will see a reduction in the population. So Jamaica is one of those countries that's looking into this technology and to pilot it as an option to dealing with the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So that's something that we want the population to look out for, to begin to read upon and understand. It's critical, even though we're going to be releasing mosquitoes, it's male mosquitoes. And we know that the males do not bite, so they cannot transmit disease. So.
All right, so I'm sure that's there's much more information. Like I said, I'm pretty sure you don't just do these things.
That's correct.
There's a lot of information and science and research data that is gathered before this decision is taken. Another question here, Taylor Des 1993. Again, thank you again, Taylor, for all your constant questions. Really appreciate that. Says, if someone is bitten and there is a rash and they scratch, will it get infected?
Okay, so any itching and there's a breaking of the skin can allow for bacteria and other things to come in that will cause what we call a secondary infection. So oftentimes when there's a rash and itching, we ask persons to be cautious that they don't break the skin. That will allow for secondary infection. So that's quite possible.
Okay, so there you have it. If you find yourself having a rash, then go to your doctor.
Go to your doctor.
Okay. Binventer, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Don't hold it against me, but it seems suggesting some things that can help to prevent mosquitoes. DEET, neem, thyme, black cohosu prevent mosquitoes from breeding on nature-bound level. then you can change the frequency with solar energy to so it's not that this person is a real naturalist.
We want them to test
a naturalist and recommending some remedies and so on. Yeah, perhaps, but I mean, DEET. We know about insect or mosquito repellents that contain DEET.
That's correct.
Those are often recommended by the ministry to help persons. So that's a secondary measure as well. As much as we eradicate the breeding sites, you can protect your body, protect yourself. Right?
Definitely from being bitten by the mosquito. So personal protection using the insect repellent, screening your windows and doors, all are very relevant in preventing contact between human and mosquito contact.
Exactly. Lovely. Candice Christine saying, thank you, Candice. Not all mosquitoes look the same. How does one identify the mosquito that transmits the disease?
Oh, that's a good question. And mosquitoes are very small, so it's very difficult for the naked eye to identify the features. I'll take the opportunity now to say in Jamaica we have 70 different species of mosquito. Wow. So it's a lot of mosquitoes that we have. Okay. But the Aedes aegypti mosquito, that's the one, that's the dengue mosquito. It's a black and white mosquito. So it looks like a little salt and pepper type of thing. So when you look at it, can I say beautifully black and white mosquito? If you look at it,
most of us would disagree with you, but all right, sure.
So when you look at it, it's that black and white is very distinct. The black and white is on the legs, on the abdomen, and so forth. But it's really very difficult just with the naked eye, usually, to identify. So, I mean,
I'm pretty sure many of us have seen a little black and white mosquito.
They have.
It look pretty. Yes. Honestly, it does look like it because it don't look like the regular mosquito.
Right. That is kind of pale brownish. Like this one is black and white, and
Okay. Humble Bless. Who has the time to identify the different types of mosquitoes? Just know that you just have to be alert and be safe. Wrong question you ask. This person's always like, anything near mosquito, just zap it, get rid of it. Yes. That way you can protect yourself. Oh my, a lot of... By inventor, boy, you have so many good points. I wish I could go through all of them. Let me just switch tack, just because I don't want to lose track of what's going on. We're talking about the National Dengue Cleanup Days, and we have to reinforce that. We want persons to get out, lend a hand, use your own 2 hands, go out there and clean up the mosquitoes.
Definitely.
Right. I want to ask again. All right, let me just go back again in terms of the targeted areas and the national projects. We want to know that they're going to be led by several. This initiative is being taken up not just by agencies such as yours. It's being taken up at the highest level. The Prime Minister and some of our ministers are going to be involved. Talk to me about that. Right.
So on the Saturday. So first of all, it's a joint government approach. I've been in vector control a long time, and it's one of the first times that I've really seen this kind of approach where many persons are lending their voice and their skill set and their asset to this problem of dengue control. So it involves the Ministry of Culture, and that very long name.
Right.
Yes, the Ministry of
Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sports.
Right. The Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Ministry of Education, and of course, local government.
Right, absolutely.
And then there are some of the agencies, the Solid Waste Management Authority, the National Works Agency, the JDF is on board, the JCF on board. We have some private, JCF has also come on board, Red Cross. So many persons are coming together to make this weekend a success.
Right.
And as again I said, it's a call to action. On the Saturday, the Prime Minister, who is quite, Cabinet had approved the 1 billion budget to augment and enhance the vector control program. And this is a mandate that came out of Cabinet to have this National Cleanup Day, recognizing the impact that dengue is having. So on the Saturday, the Prime Minister, a representative from the opposition, the MPs of the area, councillors, volunteers will all be walking in Grandspen and Raytown, bringing attention to the issue of dealing with the environmental factors that continue to allow dengue to be a problem in our country.
Wow. So, like I said, just to reinforce the fact again, this is a national issue, a national topic. We all have, just like Labor Day, which, funnily enough, the Labor Day Committee has been activated to facilitate or help plan and execute this National Cleanup Day. But the idea, once again, is for you, individual citizens in your communities, in your homes, in your wherever, get out there, destroy the mosquito breeding sites. Lest we forget, 8,290 suspected and confirmed cases recorded last year. And this was a massive jump.
Massive
compared to how many we recorded in 2018.
Yes.
I mean, this just goes to show that, boy, the mosquitoes, they're getting stronger. They're planning, they're plotting, and they don't look like they're going anywhere. So we have to get rid of them.
Definitely.
We don't want it to get to a stage where it becomes a perennial issue. We're seeing this kind. I mean, were you taken aback? Well, what was the response when you started seeing the mounting cases? I mean, I guess it begs the question of, is there anything in particular that spurred this massive jump?
Yeah, because we have been asking ourselves some questions within the Ministry of Health, because we have never seen it like this.
Right.
As I said before, previously, an outbreak with every 2 to 3 years.
Right.
When we saw the increase in 2018, and then there was a lull. Then it came back up again late 2018. Not 2018, 2019, sorry.
Right,
we were asking ourselves the question, because we have never seen this kind of a trend and the massive numbers. But as I said, there are many factors that are contributing. I want to tell us a little bit about dengue.
Right.
That I think so there are 4 types of dengue. There's dengue type 1, dengue type 2, dengue type 3, dengue type 4. You can get dengue type, for each type, you can get it once. Once you've gotten one type, you're immune to it, but you can get the other 3. So in essence, an individual can get dengue up to 4 times.
Wow, okay.
That's one. The second thing that's important is that once you've had 2 or more types of dengue, you're predisposed to having the severe manifestations, the bleeding and getting the hospitalization, to seeing the warning signs.
Right.
Our population, Jamaica, as with the Caribbean, we have now all been exposed to all 4 serotypes.
Okay.
So our population now, as we go forward, is more predisposed to seeing the severe dengue, and unfortunately more death if we don't manage it. So the epidemiology of dengue is changing within our geographical space. And so, how we used to talk about dengue, we get dengue, we feel better in a couple of days.
Right, like flu or cold or something like that.
We can no longer have that kind. We have to change the conversation. Dengue has changed. And so with more outbreaks, and as the years go by, we're going to see this, because we have had all 4 serotypes circulating within our space. And so persons after that's why there's this need for this call to action, if we don't do something, unfortunately, we know what the result is likely to be. Right. And so dengue is no longer the little flu-like disease that we can just disregard.
Take some paracetamol,
we just feel good in a couple of days. It has changed. And so the only way to prevent it from having this massive impact on our country is to deal with the mosquito. And that's why this call to action this weekend is so important.
All right, so don't just take this as just another announcement that goes in one ear and comes out the other. We all have to get out there and do something about it. I mean, if somebody was to get dengue in your house, the first thing you'd be doing is running up and down and complaining and bawling and so on. So as old-time people say, prevention better than cure.
And can I say something else? So this mosquito, it takes a very small population to cause a massive outbreak, because she's what we call like a timid feeder. Most times when Aedes aegypti bites you don't know. She's not like the Culex. There's another type of mosquito that we call Culex, that when that one latch on, it's like a jackhammer to get her off, really. But the Aedes, she's very subtle, but she's easily disturbed. So in one night, she may try to take a blood meal from 2 or 3 persons until she gets all of her blood meal. But in doing that, she would have transmitted the virus to 2 or 3 persons. So one mosquito in a household in one night can infect 3 persons.
Wow.
And so a very small population can cause so again, the need for us to really look for and destroy these breeding cells. So we're not entertaining it.
All right, so kill them. Get your zapper, get your vape mat, get your destroyer, get all of everything. Become a mosquito warrior. That's the plan.
Man, use your aerosols, the commercially available aerosols, because the mosquito hides in our homes.
Yeah,
so something we're outside fogging, and most of us close our windows and doors, so the fog cannot come in.
Exactly.
And the mosquito is on the inside. And so every time we're passing, you hug up the mosquito and say, you're not killing my mosquito today. But the mosquito is inside. That is what happens. So we are encouraging persons as well to use their commercially available aerosols and spray their homes in the mornings as you're leaving. Spray while you're leaving. So you spray a room, you lock it and you exit, and then you lock up. By the time you come back in the evening, those mosquitoes that are hiding under the couch, in the closet, under the sink, they will be dead. So take that action as well, and it has proven quite effective.
All right. I guess this is a question that keeps coming up, so maybe we really need to look into it. Maureen Moore online. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you for your question. She's asking what is in the mosquito spray. So I suspect there's a certain amount of concern, fear, maybe even a little lack of knowledge surrounding the mosquito spray and what's in it, because people might feel like, okay, it's harmful to them because they, as you rightfully say, when it starts spraying and they smell it, you lock up the door, you lock up the window, you're basically locking up the mosquito inside of the house with you. So what people kind of just satisfy or put people at rest that there's nothing harmful in the spray.
Right. So we use 2 different types of spray. In fact, 3. We use a chemical called malathion. There's one called deltamethrin, and there's one called anvil. The deltamethrin and the anvil are what we call pyrethroids, and the malathion, which is the one person can't stand the smell, is what we call an organophosphate. There are insecticides similar to the ones that are in the aerosols that we use in our home. It's just that the ones that we use in public health is formulated for big space application. So you see the fog, but it is not necessarily. It's almost the same concentration, but the smell is what offends a lot of persons with the malathion. But the chemicals that we use are similar to the ones that are in the aerosol. So they're insecticides, and it's quite safe. We use them as per the manufacturer's recommendation. So there's no need to be fearful of the chemicals that the Ministry of Health uses.
Right. Okay, and Candice Christian is asking, any specific reason that Raytown and Grandspen were chosen for the cleanup days? Do they have the highest rate of the disease?
Okay, so for this weekend, we're highlighting the environmental factors that are contributing to the occurrence of the mosquito in our space. And so Grandspen and Raytown have some of those issues that we want to highlight, the dumping in the drains, and the lot of storage of bulky waste. So against that background, we start to find some areas that we want to bring some attention to, the things that we don't want you to do. And so Raytown and Grandspen were chosen.
All right, okay, so let's just recap, I think, as we kind of go and bring things to a close. Let's recap again. So we're having National Mosquito Cleanup Days on
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This Friday, this Saturday, and this Sunday. Yes.
All right. So our tech people want you to be looking in them. You show some love to the Facebook people as well. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, mosquito cleanup days. And the objective on Friday is?
We are focusing on schools and businesses getting rid of breeding sites in and around their spaces. In fact, we would love for schools and businesses to post at the end of Friday that we are mosquito free. Put it on their Facebook pages, push it, hashtag the Ministry of Health. I don't know the hashtag link, that's very bad. That's okay. But put it up that, we are mosquito free. And, let people know that you went out, you did your thing, and you are contributing to the national effort to rid our space from mosquito.
Yeah, so be part of the movement. We want to see some pictures. We post pictures of doing every little thing under the sun. Let's post some pictures of us destroying some mosquito sites. Points for humor, points for interest, points for creativity. We on JS will definitely look to share it. We want to see some creative, innovative ways of people destroying their breeding sites and protecting their homes. I mean, hey, the more we can latch on to this movement and make it more, sustain it beyond this weekend. So the challenge is yours. Sustain the movement beyond the weekend. Find ways of demonstrating to the public how you are making this mosquito destruction, this eradication of mosquito breeding site carry on, because we need this to happen. Like we just said, over 8,000 persons. Can't continue. Many people in hospital. I was reading a stat that people are in hospital for like 3 to 5 days.
Yes.
When they get in there, and it's costing like some $100,000-$200,000 to treat
per
them.
individual. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. So this is money that would be much better spent on other things. You know what I mean? So the more we can eliminate this, we can reduce, save money as taxpayers, and actually save productivity. Because who wants to be in the hospital for 3 to 5 days? You know what I mean? Nobody know want that. Me no want that. So, I'll be murdering as many mosquitoes as possible this weekend. All right. So that's Friday. On Saturday, what do we have?
So on Saturday, we're dealing with our community spaces, or getting rid of the bulky waste, dealing with our drains. So we'll be out in Grandspen. National focus will be out in Grandspen and in Raytown. So we're asking volunteers to come out on these days. And, we'll be handing out T-shirts, we'll be handing out flyers, we'll be cleaning the space. We're just going to be dealing with Grandspen and Raytown. But in all the parishes, there are parish projects. So we are encouraging persons, contact your local municipal council and find out where your parish projects are going to be and go out and volunteer. And then on the Sunday, we are all being asked to look in and around our personal space. In fact, on this Sunday, members of parliaments and councillors will be walking through their communities, bringing attention to the fact of taking care of our personal space. So on Sunday, we want persons to be out searching their breeding sites. In fact, we never mention the churches.
Yeah,
we never mention the churches. So on Saturday, baptismal pools are a major breeding sites. And so on Saturday, for our Adventist friends, we're asking you just between Sunday school and service, Sabbath school, or after service, go out and search the churchyard for any breeding site. And if the baptismal pool is breeding, drain it out, clean the sides because the eggs are going to be on the side of the wall, and then refill it. And on Sunday, definitely, please, after service, take some time. Pastor, deacons, first ladies, go out and search the churchyard. And let us all get together and do this so that we can see a real good impact.
You can do it during the announcements. Yes, and sister, we're going to take the food to sister. Oh, yeah, and by the way, clean up the mosquito breeding site.
That's right.
So again, just to be clear, what exactly is a mosquito breeding site? So persons can just bring things full circle. What should people be looking out for?
Right. So the mosquito breeding sites are any container in and around your home that can hold water and is holding water for over 3-4 days. Mosquitoes will lay their eggs in there. So we're looking for things like flower vase. We're looking for old tires, your old fridge, wheelbarrows, pet feeding containers, your dish drainers, drums, 45 and 55 gallon drums are our main breeding sites in Jamaica. I don't know if it's not a culture that even in places that we don't need to have a drum of water, we just have a drum of water. So we're asking persons to look at those drums, and for those drums, because people just not getting rid of their drums. So we ask you to cover it with some mesh material that will allow water to come in, but will not give access to the mosquito. You can tip a little cooking oil on the surface of the water to suffocate the larvae that is in it, or just throw it away and turn it over. So those are the things that we want you to be looking for. If you have those plants, the bromeliad plants, or a lot of people plant banana plants in their homes, look for those punch holes so that the water drains out. Turn over the plants that are able to hold water. Anything that is able to hold water, we want you to look into.
All right, so there you have it. I don't think I need to say anything more. Just go out in your home, work, school, church, anywhere you go. Chances are there's a breeding site in there.
Yes.
Mash it up. Kill it. Get rid of the mosquito them. We don't need no more. Dengue is running rampant. We need to bring it under control. And the ball is in your court. It's up to you to go out there and play your part in bringing this outbreak under control.
And we need to tell them the theme is wanted, Aedes aegypti mosquito, dead, not alive.
Dead.
So we want everybody to be singing that over the weekend. Wanted, Aedes aegypti mosquito, dead, not alive.
Dead, not alive.
That's
Zap
correct.
them.
Zap them.
Destroy them. Repel them. Any which way you can do it, just get rid of them. We don't want no more of them. All right? And on that note, I think it's time for us to wrap. Thanks to everyone who tuned into our program, especially those of you who sent in your questions and your comments. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And if you have a question and you want to send it in, not to worry, go ahead. We'll be going through afterwards. We'll be able to channel those questions to Mrs. Huntley Jones, and we'll be able to get some good answers and get you the right information that you need. Now, remember, our audience plays a major part in our show. This is your show. If there's anyone you'd like us to have in studio at any time, let us know, and we'll do our best to have that person in studio as soon as possible. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the different social media platforms. We're there. Just look for us. You'll find us, and I guarantee you won't regret it. You'll get valuable information that you can use to realize your potential, achieve something in Jamaica, you know. And we do this every week live on the internet, on Instagram, on Facebook. I've been your host, Vaughn Davis. Thank you to everyone who, again, thank you to everyone who tuned in. This has been Studio 58 Day Live. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day.